Hello, everybody. I'm Devon Duerr. I'm an angel intuitive and spiritual teacher here with some angel messages for you for the upcoming next couple of weeks. However, know that when I connect with the angels, I always, first of all, set the intention that these messages be meant for whoever comes across them at the time they come across them. So if you're seeing this at a later date, don't worry about that at all. I also always make sure I connect with only the highest vibrational beings by connecting and with a prayer and asking that I only connect with them. So I'm going to go into the guidance for these messages, but I always like to remind you that my favorite thing to teach is creating your book of evidence, writing things down that resonate. So if you're new to something like this and you're trying to build your trust and your connect with your angels, I do encourage you to go look at previous videos I've recorded on my YouTube channel that have angel messages. Then go check your phone, look at your calendar, look at pictures you were taking around those dates and see what they were talking about with that. One of the best tools for building your intuition, building your connection and trust with the angels is hindsight. We have that hindsight there. Now, how do you get that hindsight? You go back and review things, and of course, you write them in your book of evidence. Now, I do have my custom journal available on my website at devonduerr.com if you want everything in it done for you, but you do not need that. You just need a notebook where you keep everything together. So I do teach organized ways to do that, but we're not going to get into that too much today because I also want to remind you that you're invited to my online coffees held the second Wednesday of the month, where it's a round table of intuitive discussion. I answer your questions about angels and how you connect with them. There's many other highly experienced intuitives that join us in the group. It's a great way to meet other people who love angels or love this kind of work. And we have people who are total newbies all the way to people who have been doing this most of their lives. So it doesn't matter what level you're at. You do not have to participate. You can dial in with your video or mute off if you just want to listen for the first time, but you are welcome. And all you have to do is go to my website, devonduerr.com. There's a link below in this video, and sign up for my free newsletter. And this is a free event, the second Wednesday every month, and we have one coming up this Wednesday, August 10th at 10 a.m. Central. Lately, I have been posting the angel messages that I offer at the beginning of the coffee within a few days of the coffee, but if you want to get them right at the time that I'm sharing the angel messages for the group, make sure you're joining live. Now, I want to also let you know too that when I do connect with the angels at the beginning of the coffee, but it is a group message. So just like with this video, it's a group message. So if anything does not resonate with you, just leave it behind. The angels never want us to give our power away. That message may be meant for somebody else. However, this is the part where if something does catch your attention, try not to overanalyze it in the moment. Just try to write it down in a safe place where you can go back and review it later. Then you can even watch the video a couple more times through and see if you know what they're talking about. But often it's the first thing that comes to mind, or the first person who comes to mind, or the first situation that comes to mind when you're hearing this guidance. So that's why it's good to just jot it down and then maybe go back and re-listen later. All right, so we got those announcements out of the way there. Let's jump into these angel messages. And I did want to answer a great question from a viewer on last week's live that I did when we get to the end. So make sure you stay tuned all the way to the end, and also let me know in the comments what resonates, or if you have any questions for me. I love hearing from you, and I love connecting with you. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter sometimes if I remember to post on there. But obviously the easiest way to connect with me is come to my coffee, or go ahead and post in this video a comment below, and I'd love to hear from you. All right, so going right into the messages, think about these three areas of your life: your career and finance, your health and fitness, and your romantic relationships and other relationships, okay? Just a quick reminder, I do have my Invisalign braces in. If you hear something funny, I'm finally starting to get used to them, but once in a while I trip up on them. So think about those three areas, and I'm not going to divide them by that because I was doing that in the past, and the angels actually asked me that people are missing some of the guidance because they're getting too focused on that. So again, pay attention to what comes up for you immediately. So the first piece of guidance coming through to us is that there are some people in our lives that are needing our attention right now and will need our attention over the next few months, all the way through the winter time, in a different way than we're used to in the past. For many of us, they're saying this could be our children, little children or adult children are really going to be relying on us, and they're going to need us to show up in a different way because they've been going through a lot of changes on their own. They're growing. Maybe they're making changes in relationships in their life. If they're an adult, they could be going through some big changes, and they're going to really need us to fulfill that parental role there too. But for some of us, this is actually having to do with us being the child, and maybe potentially some of our older parents needing our help more than they have in the past. And especially over the winter time, like I said. So that guidance there was really wanting you not to focus too much on children you have yourself, because you may not have children yourself. It may mean that there may be some family members that you are like a child to them. Now, again, this is where the guidance, with it being a group message, you have to let go what doesn't resonate. But because if you don't have children, or maybe your parents aren't with us on this side anymore, that doesn't mean this isn't for you, because sometimes it could mean spiritual connection. It could mean someone else's child needing your help. It could mean someone else's parent who needs someone like a daughter for them, someone that they can nurture and feel like they're being looked after. So a big message coming through overall here is that over the next few months, especially through the end of winter, is what they're saying, think of the people in your life who you really love and you really want to be there for. It could be a friend or a neighbor that doesn't have children and they're needing somebody to look after them. Maybe they're just feeling a little lonely because their children have gone off to college and they're not used to having that empty nest. And there's a lot of ways that this could come through for you. So I'm getting a lot of tingles in my legs about the idea that it might not just be family. So whoever's listening to that, think about where that might resonate. Maybe you have an aunt or somebody who's like an aunt to you that is really needing more affection and support from you. Maybe they're going through something, they're feeling lonely, or they're at a time of their lives where they really miss having their children close by, or didn't have children and are wanting that. So that was the message there for that. Moving on, they wanted to say that with this guidance that they were giving, really, really make sure you're calling in help from the angels a lot, calling in help from God for help with these things. Because at first it could feel really disruptive. It could feel like you don't have the time to engage with these people the way that you feel like you should be, or the way that they feel you should be. And so when you start feeling stressed over, well, how am I going to show up for this person and not let them down? Or how am I going to still show up for the things that I need to do in my life or other people in my life and still be there for this older parent or this child who's needing me a lot more right now? Ask the angels for help. That is so key here, and we forget to do it. I forget to do it. That's why I have my daily journaling. And I want to circle back to this in a minute with that viewer question we had last week's video, because this came through perfectly here with this. So I'm sure the angels were wanting me to address it. I was thinking about doing a totally separate video on this stuff, but that's coming up with some of the work I'm doing with teaching you how to create your book of evidence, teaching you how to connect with the angels on your own. This is such a passion of mine, to teach you how to do it on your own, because you do have everything you need within you. You were born with intuitive abilities. You are connected. Your angels are with you. And I just want to show you ways to get those answers and to engage with your angels. So again, this word of engagement was coming up a lot. Now, this could mean that what's causing a lot of this anxiety for you could be maybe you've recently gotten engaged or married or signed a contract through work that's taking you away from people you're normally around. This is a message that's come up a lot recently over the last couple of weeks for me when I'm getting guidance for different things I'm doing. And it was talking about there could be this contract you've signed with another person that's making these people feel a little left behind. It could be, just that you're a newlywed and now your parents are feeling ignored because you used to have Sunday dinners every Sunday and you don't always have time. It could be friends that are used to seeing you on a regular basis, but you got a new job opportunity, and so that's taking your time. It could mean anything around that, and it could also mean other people in your life doing that. So when you're feeling overwhelmed, how am I going to show up for myself and how am I going to show up for other people? Don't forget to ask your angels for help. Write it down, and I'll circle back to that in just a minute, because the final message of how do we bring this into our daily life, that's my favorite thing to do, is say, okay, we just heard all these messages from you, angels. What do I do now? I don't want to have to wait around for these things. They want you to start activating that law of attraction. And one key thing to remember with the law of attraction is you need to feel what you're wanting to feel in the moment in order to attract more of it, because like attracts like. So if you want to feel like you have a very romantic life, but you don't have a partner, you need to find things that make you feel romantic. Maybe it's finding that perfect restaurant to sit outside and journal and have a glass of wine or whatever your beverage of choice is that you would want to do with a partner at some point. You go and do that now. It doesn't have to be that big of an expense. I know a lot of us are under financial pressure right now, and that's understandable. It can be something really small, like stopping to smell the roses, as we often hear, doing things that make you feel good. And I like to use the reference when we talk about feeling abundant. You know, we want abundance in all the healthy areas of our life, right? So look out in nature for abundance. Nature shows us abundance in many, many ways. Look at an anthill. Look at the abundant amount of ants that can live in this small mound of dirt, right? That's an abundant amount of ants in each hill. And depending on where you live, you may see a bunch of ant hills out there, and look at the abundance of ants when you think of that. So that may not be the best thing that you want to think about when you're doing a law of attraction. I say you're thinking about it if you find ants to be pests. But I do want you to think about that feeling right now. So I heard somebody talk about once the leaves on a tree, or how many leaves there are on a tree versus how many grains of sand there are on a little tiny portion of the beach, or in the sandbox outside in your kids' play yard. So where can you look around you and see things are abundant and tap into that feeling is going to be really helpful. So that kind of wraps up how to do that right now, is just start activating that law of attraction. And I want to also go back to that viewer's question asking about the to-do list with the angels. So I'm not entirely sure which portion, what you were asking, but I know that I do teach about asking for help from the angels with the to-do list. Now, it could be that you were asking, are the angels giving you a to-do list? I find that the angels will, activate us when necessary. So there is a form of that happens if they see somebody that's needing somebody to smile at them that day. They'll put you in their pathway, and then they'll know you're going to smile at them, or they'll give you the opportunity, or you'll feel that tap on the shoulder like I often do with these videos. I'll feel very busy with my day, busy with kid activities, busy with work commitments, and I'll just have this tap on the shoulder like I need to get online and send a message to the group, say hello to everybody, and share some angel guidance. And I will feel that like I can't do it quickly enough. So yes, the angels will give us to-do lists, and that's where we're going to really go into our sacral chakra, our gut, listen to our gut, listen to what you feel the urge to do, but then check with your heart to see if that's an angel message. Check to see if you feel excitement about that, if you feel joy. And when I say excitement, be careful with that word too, because excitement, somebody could get excitable about something, right? Excitement isn't always a good thing. It's kind of an extreme emotion sometimes. So really what we're looking for is that joy and that love for something. Like you're so excited to work on something, or you're so excited to go somewhere, and you just feel it in your chest, and that heart chakra is just booming with joy. So I do have certain times in my life where I really felt joyful in my heart, and I acted on a gut instinct because of that joy feeling, and I was right to do so. I got an abundant return from doing that. Well, that's my comparison for these times. Even in the tiniest moment, if I feel that same joy and excitement along with the gut check that, oh yeah, I feel the urge to go ahead and record a video, share some guidance, call this person, then that's what I compare everything to. So when you're talking about a to-do list from the angels, you're going to have to really feel into that and see whether it's your mind telling you you should do something, or whether it really is divine guidance. And so we can sometimes overanalyze things and let our mind or our ego talk us into doing something when really our gut was not telling us to do that. So that's some things to be careful about, and we could do, several other videos on that. So I want to also circle to the question, if you were asking about help from the angels with your to-do list, this was one of the reasons I became so passionate about the method I teach with journaling, because I keep everything in my journal. I keep my to-do lists, I keep important calendar dates, I keep my mood tracker, I keep, project brainstorming sessions in there, everything, because it's all in one place. And then I literally ask the angels for help. When I have a to-do list on there, I will say, angels, I need help getting these things done. And what I find is they will actually remove things off my list if they're not meant to be done by me. So somebody will call up and offer to take my kids somewhere for me so I can get something else done. Or somebody else will call up and volunteer to do something for me, or tell me, you know what, I don't really need this anymore, so you don't need to do this. And things will just fall off of my calendar to do when I'm feeling overwhelmed because I ask for their help. Also, with that law of attraction, by saying, I want to get to this next project for work, and I'm hoping to do it by this date, and I have it on my to-do list, and I have it in my daily entries, I will find that magically space will open up in my calendar. Somebody will call and cancel a lunch date, and I'll suddenly get 2 more hours that I can work on a project. So it really is about putting all that intention in here. In fact, when I first got started, I called my company Build Intention. It is still called Build Intention, but my website's Devon Duerr now because nobody could remember Build Intention. But it is about putting that intention behind it. That's why I say I put intention behind the guidance I receive. I also put intention into my journal, and I ask that this be a sacred place for connection with the angels. But that's okay if you need to write call the plumber in here. That doesn't make it not sacred, because everything we do is sacred. And it's really about bringing intuitive guidance into our day-to-day lives, because it's the small things that add up and create the big things, right? Every penny adds up eventually. So think of it as putting pennies from heaven all into one place, and now you've got this big jar of pennies. So those were the messages for today. I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, let me know. I'll try to go into it more next time. I have a lot of fun projects coming up. And for those of you who have met me through Serious Joy, I do have fun stuff going on over with the team over there, and I would look forward to hearing from you there as well, or any comments or questions you have about that. And I'm trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to say other than just please make sure you're signed up for my free newsletter so you can stay up to date on things coming out. Please like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me keep these things going and growing my audience so I can offer more, and reach out. I love connecting with you. I always appreciate hearing from you. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye.